Hello, everyone. Stephanie Lucrezio coming to you live. I'll wait a couple of moments for people to pop on. I hope everybody is staying cool and keeping calm and carrying on here in the humid and crazy hot New Jersey. It's been a really unbearable couple of days out there. So for those of you that follow, you know that there's lots of things happening here right now, both in New Jersey and all across the country. If you have not been part of the medical freedom movement previous to COVID, I think there's a pretty good chance that many people who once considered themselves pro-vax are now following what's happening with all the coercion and the mandates and the door-to-door knocking, which started here in New Jersey. Governor Murphy was deploying people down the shore. So if you live down the shore, don't open your door. But we did hear yesterday from Jen Psaki, our new press secretary, that they're also looking to do this door-to-door campaign from a national standpoint, which is kind of terrifying and insane that we live in the United States and they're looking to go door-to-door peddling vaccines. The amount of marketing and dollars being spent, and I would just like to remind everybody who's watching that that money that's being spent, it's our money. It's our tax dollars that are promoting this insane propaganda, fear-mongering insanity that you see on the TV, you see on the news, the radio, even in mainstream media shows. You know, if you're watching like This Is Us or any of those mainstream shows, each and every one of them have incorporated COVID propaganda into their whole storyline. So if you're here in New Jersey, you know that we have a very important election coming up. I have done so many lives in the last couple of months with gubernatorial candidates. I've had on people who are running for all different types of offices. And I want to put out there what's at stake right now, because I think it's really important if you live in New Jersey that you understand not only does this election matter for New Jersey, it matters nationally. After the whole debacle with the election for Trump versus Biden, and Biden now being the sitting president, even though we all know how that happens, the nation is feeling the change and the tide changing over to this more, communistic type regime that's taking place. And when you look at the elections, there are not many elections happening, gubernatorial elections here in the United States. New Jersey is one of two that's taking place this year. And we have a Democratic incumbent, we all familiar with him here in New Jersey, King Murphy. He's been ruling by executive order pretty much since COVID started, and he has given himself permission to do so until 2022 under the guise of ending the public health emergency. So if you don't know that yet, know that 14 of his executive orders, he still has all the power over until 2022, including public health, vaccine distribution, any protocols or mandates related to COVID, as well as some things with eviction notices. So if you own buildings or property and you're suffering with people not paying rents, that suffering will continue through 2022. So for me, I've had enough of the Murphy regime. I am ready for change. I am ready for something different. Now, for those of you that follow me, you know that I was Team Rizzo 100% all the way. I walked with him through many, many rallies and, different events. I hosted events. I had him on lives. We all know the results of the primary, that Jack Citarelli is the person that is running up against Murphy in the November elections. And yesterday, we had a meeting with him out by me. And it was really awesome. First of all, anytime that you're around our people and you're able to socialize and get together and be with like-minded, like-hearted people, it's always a good day. So coming off the holiday weekend and starting off my work week with everyone that I know and love was just amazing. And having the opportunity to spend some up-close time with Jack and hear from him, see his personality, see his responses to things, see how engaged he was with the people that were in the room and how authentically and transparent he answered the questions was really helpful for me. So I posted yesterday a lot of pictures and comments, and for anybody that was invited to the meeting, I just want to say that there was absolutely no, reason why people were not included. This meeting was put together very quickly, during a holiday weekend, having a lot of different changes being made at the last minute, and it was kind of just open-ended. But just know that this was the first of many meetings that will be taking place. This time right now that we have through November is such an important period of time when it comes to building relationships with not only the gubernatorial candidates, but the candidates that are running for Senate and Assembly seats. I don't think people realize the value of the time that we have here. There are Board of Election seats open, and people need to get into those spots immediately. I'm going to be running for BOE in my district. I have my petitions and all my stuff here. So if you live in my district, please reach out to me. I'm going to need your signature for my petition. So there's plenty of things that we can be doing. As far as Jack Citarelli goes, I want to speak to the people who may have doubts, who may not be sure about his position. He has definitely said things that have, raised flags and concerned people in the medical freedom movement going through the primary. And I recognize and acknowledge that. And, people immediately jump to judgment and criticism and, just shutting down the bridge and saying, nope, I'm done. I'm not having any more conversations. When the truth is that people are human, and most people only have information coming from one very specific source, whether it be the news or, whatever Facebook's allowing you to see, whatever they're hearing in their social circles. And everyone's in a different place when it comes to COVID. So I think that coming from a place of acceptance and openness is the first most important thing, whether you're dealing with a regular conversation or you're dealing with a conversation when it comes to a politician. Because without that openness and the ability to accept what a person's saying, there is nowhere to go. So we all in that room yesterday went in with an open mind and an open heart, really looking to build that bridge with Jack and to find out who he is, what he's about, and if he's willing to be a person that will listen to our concerns, that will open the door for us to have a seat at the table and have these important conversations when it comes to being a parent in the world that we're living in. And I have to tell you, he accomplished that, in spades yesterday. He spent over an hour and a half talking to us. He took questions from the audience. He addressed some of the things that he said during the campaign that concerns people like me and people who follow me. And he made very clear that he has his own set of beliefs. Everyone is different when it comes to where they are with COVID, their comfort level with vaccines, not taking vaccines, wearing masks, not wearing masks. But he made clear yesterday that he is a person that wants to give people individual choice. And I think that's something to be recognized and celebrated in a world that we're living in, where they're looking to come door to door and force you to take an experimental vaccine, which has not even gone through clinical trials. So if you're on the side of science and you believe in vaccines, that's awesome. People have the opportunity and the ability to get every vaccine on the schedule 3 times if they choose to. And that is the key. The key is the choice. The choice is yours and yours alone. It is nobody else's. It is not the governor's. It is not the CDC. It is not the FDA. It is not the president. It is not the military. It is nobody's choice but yours and your family's to decide what is best for you as an individual. We are all bio individuals, little mini, computer systems that are different, that operate differently, that have different conditions, that have different strengths and weaknesses, different immune systems. And there is no one size fits all with anything. There is no one size fits all with food. There is no one size fits all when it comes to personal care products. Even certain detergents bother people. So it's really important that we maintain this very important constitutional freedom that is called bodily autonomy. And unfortunately, right now, the attack on our bodily autonomy and our parental choice has never been more severe. It has never been more blatant. And what happens in this next year or two is going to determine a lot about the future for our future generations, our children, our children's children. So the stakes are really high right now. And for the people that are focused on their feelings, that your candidate didn't win, whether it's Rizzo or Singh or whoever you were rooting for, there is no more separation of, I'm a Rizzo supporter, I'm a Singh supporter. Phil Rizzo was there yesterday. Phil Rizzo showed up as a constituent who was concerned about medical freedom, who was there to, create relationships with the people in the room, to have his voice heard, to partner with Jack to make sure that Jack is representing the people of New Jersey in the way that he needs to, and that all the concerns from the people that were supporting Phil are now passed on to the person who's carrying the torch to the finish line. So Hirsch Singh was not there. I just want to say that for sure, so people know that he was not there, but Phil was. And I think that there's something to be said about that. Jack talked yesterday about this unity conference and getting everybody together. And that word unity is something that we need right now so badly, because if it's us against each other, infighting over, writing someone else's name down on the ballot, which, by the way, if you're planning to do that in November, I want you to know that writing someone else's name down on the ballot or not voting is basically a vote for Phil Murphy. And I have to say that if you're doing that, it is bordering on insane and somewhat cowardly, because it takes courage to have faith and to put trust in someone that is going to be moving into office. It takes tenacity to continue to have these conversations, and it takes resilience to get up and put your feelings aside about a loss or a blow to an ego, and to be able to move forward towards what it is that we're looking to create. And what it is we're looking to create is a state that is free, a state that allows our children to breathe fresh air, to decide what curriculum they're going to be looking at in school, to decide if they're going to get a vaccine or they're not going to get a vaccine, not to have things held over our head and said, well, you can get this if you do this. That is un-American. It is unacceptable, and it is something that we cannot stand for. And it is the storyline of how the last year and a half under Phil Murphy's regime has gone. He has basically ruled with the ballpoint pen without any consultation or any regard for the legislative process, and has just decided for everyone in New Jersey how things are going to go. So if you've had enough of that, then you're with me and you're on Team Jack. And you are going to put whatever feelings or rumors or things that you have about this man on a shelf. And you're going to look at what it is that we're trying to create as a movement, as parents, as people of New Jersey, and what kind of state we want to live in. We know that Phil Murphy is going to give us 4 years of the same and worse, because Phil Murphy 2.0 is going to be a whole lot worse than the Phil Murphy that we're seeing right now. Remember, the leniencies that he is giving us and the backtracking that he's doing is because it is an election year. And I'll pause. It's an election year. When the election is over and he knows that he has secured 4 more years as the king in New Jersey, what do you think is going to happen here? What do you think? Do you think that things are going to get better? Do you think our children are going to be able to go to school and breathe fresh air? Do you think that there's not going to be mandates for people who are working for corporations, for children going to school? Because I can tell you that that is where we're headed in New Jersey if this man gets another 4 years. So if you do not want that future, then you are on Team Jack. And whether you think he supported Trump, whether you think he's a rhino, whether you think he's all of these things, none of it matters right now, because if we're going to be able to plant our 2 feet on the ground here in New Jersey and stay, Jack is going to be the man that's going to make things better. He spoke yesterday about a whole ton of issues when it comes to the lanes that he's running in. He spoke about taxes. He spoke about school choice. He spoke about being able to decide, with curriculums and addressing certain things that are happening inside of our schools, with the extreme LGBTQ curriculums that are being forced down kindergartners' throats, and, a 6th grader is learning about sodomy and anal sex. He spoke about critical race theory. So there was a lot of really great conversation points. And, when it came to the issues that I'm concerned about, I have to say he checked all the boxes. And then the cherry on the cake came. So he spoke about, and I was on Bill Spadia this morning talking about this, he spoke about a position that he is going to be creating inside of the Citarelli administration. And this position is going to be a parental rights ombudsman. Say that 7 times fast. It's a parental rights czar. So this person's entire purpose for being inside of the 4 walls of this office is to monitor anything that's happening that would impact parental rights, be it medical freedom, vaccine mandates, mask mandates, anything to do with the school curriculums, any of the different Common Core things that they're putting into our schools. This person would be in charge of all of this. They would be our voice inside of the walls of Trenton. Now, I just want you to recognize how valuable this is for people that have been on the outside. We have been on the outside screaming, banging pots, trying to project our voices on bullhorns with microphones in front and another bullhorn in front of that to get our voice as loud as we possibly can. We've been taped off and roped off from the building with orange tape and cones, not allowed to enter our own house that our tax dollars pay for. We can't even walk into that house. We have to stand outside and scream at the top of our lungs for the sake of our children, for the sake of our freedom. That ends with the Citarelli administration, because we will have someone inside of those four walls who is representing and advocating for us real time, watching what's happening, advising the governor on what direction to take with policies that will impact parental choice. And that overarching theme right now is so important, because the government is looking to take over the parental responsibility that has been entrusted to me as a mother and to those of you who are fathers. And that is unacceptable. It cannot happen on our watch, because if we allow things to move in that direction, as we've seen with COVID, people said, oh, if I just wear my mask, if I just obey, if I just do what they tell me to do, it's going to get better. It's going to end. And where are we? Yeah, the mask mandate has been lifted. You know, if you're vaccinated, right now you don't need to provide any proof of vaccine. But all the cards have been laid out to show you where things are going. And when you give up and sacrifice freedom and choice, it's really hard to get it back. So we need to work really hard right now. If you're listening to this and you're sore or you're bitter or you're upset, put your feelings aside, dust yourself off, pay attention to what it is that's at stake right now and what we already know what we're dealing with. We've seen and experienced tyranny under Governor Murphy. He has said things like the Bill of Rights, the Bill of Rights is above his pay grade. He has said things like, if taxes are concerned, then New Jersey is probably not the state to live in. I mean, the man is telling us everything that we need to know. We know that if he has his way, he will make sure that that vaccine is mandated on every one of our children and that our children will be masked and segregated. It's a nightmare. So if you don't want that, we have an opportunity right now, and we're all seizing it by having these really important conversations with Jack and expressing our concerns and creating that partnership and relationship. If you're not reaching out and having the conversations right now, you are part of the problem. And I said this 2 years ago when we went to Trenton and we were talking about vaccine injury on our kids. So many people sitting behind their computers, watching frantically what was happening and just staying in silence. Silence and complicity are two of the worst things that we can do at this moment. It is our time as parents and as citizens of the greatest and freest country in the world, the United States of America, to stand firm on our constitutional freedoms and to make sure that tyranny does not continue in our state and in our country. And in order to do that, it's going to take courage. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take getting tunnel vision and looking straight ahead into November and manifesting and praying that we do not have another 4 years of Governor Murphy. If you are concerned about election fraud, I am concerned about election fraud. I think everybody, after seeing what happens in the presidential election this year, is concerned about election fraud. But that does not give you a pass to stay home and be complacent and not vote. If anything, you should be going out there. If you're a registered Republican or if you're unaffiliated and you're swinging towards the right this time because you've lived on the left side for far too long, it is super important to get up, to get out, to vote, to make sure that you're part of the solution, working with your county committees to, streamline that voting process and be sure that we can make it as fair as remotely possible, and ensuring that your vote is counted and that you inspire other people to do the same. Because staying home and doing nothing has never been a solution. Writing down the name of a person who is not on the ballot is just insane. Like, you need to have your head examined if you're thinking about doing that, because it means nothing. You might as well just check Murphy's box and just call it a day. Have your feelings. You can, do whatever you want to do behind the scenes. Publicizing and fighting on Facebook with one another in our movement is a huge no, whether it's now or 2 years ago. I've been saying it for a long time. We need to keep our movement unified. We need to keep moving forward together so that we can attract more people that want to be with us. People do not want to be with people who are fighting and awful to one another. People are inspired by and attracted to people who are working together to create momentum, to make change, to show themselves as a powerful force to be reckoned with, and to be the ones that are being the change that they wish to see in the world. We do not want to see more fighting and hatred and ego and jealousy and, all the things. They're negative emotions. They take down your attraction factor. You are vibrating your highest when you're coming from that place of love and gratitude and appreciation and compassion and empathy. And if you have trouble getting there, I highly recommend yoga. Reach out to me. I can point you in the direction of some places, because I recognize that the world is a crazy place and that things are really hard right now. And it is human to feel upset, to feel the human emotions. It takes something to pull yourself out of that and to look towards what it is that you want to create. And the power of creation, the power of manifestation, the power of prayer and faith is real. It is much realer than any of the other evil that we're dealing with in the world. So I want everybody to take a deep breath in through their nose right now, fill up belly, chest, ribs, hold that fill, feel the weight of what it is you're carrying. And then I want you to open your mouth and audibly sigh it out and let something go. Let go of what you're holding on to that's lowering your attraction, that's keeping you in anger and frustration and out of those emotions that will attract people to want to know more about what you're doing. Because let me tell you something, not only do we have an opportunity to change the legislative structure of New Jersey, we also have a golden opportunity to invite in so many more parents to the work that we've been doing tirelessly for years behind the scenes that nobody has known about. This is our moment to attract new people, to grow our numbers, to show ourselves as a political force, to start to get into those conversations, because the pharma lobby is a big one, but we're bigger as far as numbers. So we need to continue to grow. The only way we're going to do that is together. So my message for all of you is we need to roll with the punches. We need to continue to move forward and move towards the New Jersey that it is that we want to create. Jack Citarelli has my vote for governor. He has my support. I will be knocking on doors for him. I will be making phone calls for him. I will be doing anything and everything that I can do to make sure that when November comes, that Phil Murphy is voted out and then he packs it up and he goes back to where he came from, whatever hole in Massachusetts he was living in, that he goes back there and he does not come back to New Jersey ever again. That is my only goal. I believe that Jack has the best of intentions. He may have different personal opinions and choices than the ones that we make, but I'm not here to criticize whether someone chooses to wear a mask or get a vaccine, or that's not my job. My job is to make sure that I maintain my freedom to make my own choices. And I know under another 4 years of Murphy that freedom is going to be in grave danger. I feel confident after my conversations with Jack yesterday that he will preserve and protect our freedom. He talked about also expanding religious exemptions to philosophical. We talked about the possibility of even working with medical exemptions and being able to create some more protections for doctors. So he's open. He's open-minded. He's listening. He's hearing what we're saying. He's looking to create these relationships and have these conversations, which is much more than Phil Murphy and many of the people inside of Trenton are willing to do right now. So when you're thinking about all your feelings about Trump and what candidate you were supporting in the primary, shift your vision, shift your focus, my dad always says, if you turn your head in a different direction and you just look over here, suddenly everything looks very different. So take your attention off of the loss and the frustration and start to shift your energy and your focus onto what it is that we can create, the possibilities that come with new leadership, new people, a breath of fresh air coming into Trenton, taking out all of these people that we know are not for freedom and infusing Trenton with new people who are listening, who are open, and who are ready to defend our constitutional freedoms. And I believe that Jack will do just that. Like I said before, if you're just joining, he has committed to creating a parental choice ombudsman position, which is basically like a czar that is strictly dedicated to dealing with all issues that have to do with parental choice, be it medical freedom, vaccine rights, masks, school curriculums, all the things that people are concerned about. That is way more than Murphy is willing to do. So I think that in and of itself shows his commitment to protecting our constitutional freedoms and his commitment to giving us a seat at the table, which we have never had. So if you want your seat at the table, reach out to me. I'm going to be the county coordinator for my county to help to get the message out. I will be in contact with county coordinators all throughout the state of New Jersey. Our jump off window is now. We have no time to think. We have no time to relish in feelings. All we have is time to spring into action, because the mail-in voting will still be happening if you requested a ballot, unless you opt out of that. And people will be getting their mail-in ballots sometime in September. I think it's like the second or third week of September. Those mail-in ballots will be going out. And the in-person voting will start a week prior to Election Day. So we need to be working now. We need to be having these conversations now. People are primed. They are ready. The issues that we're dealing with here in New Jersey, no political affiliation. There are Democrats that had their businesses shut down. There are Democrats that don't want their kids in school with masks. There are Democrats that don't want to have vaccines mandated on them. There are Democrats who own properties that have people that haven't been paying mortgages or rents for, the last year and a half, that are suffering tremendously. So right now, it's not about your political affiliation. It is about what it is you want to create here in New Jersey. And if you don't want 4 years of the same with these constant shutdowns and impingements on our freedoms and this tyrannical rule, then it is time to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Megan, so reach out to me. I'm going to find out how you opt out of the mail-in ballot. I haven't researched it too much, but I didn't get mine, so I have a feeling that I somehow did it, and I don't even know how I did it. And then as far as assisting with getting the word out in Ocean County, I will see if we're looking for a county coordinator. I can let you know. If we have a county coordinator, I can absolutely put you in touch with them. So if you're looking to be part of the solution and not part of the problem, what Megan's question is a perfect segue into what it is you can do right now. So the 3 things you can do right now is, number 1, make sure that you're registered to vote in November. Make sure that you're able to vote, get your voices heard, because this is the year to do it. Number 2, if you are in a county and you're looking to get involved, reach out to me. I will find out who is the county coordinator in your district. And if we don't have a county coordinator and you're willing to be county coordinator, that is awesome, because we need all the help that we can get. I know Camden County, we're looking for someone specific. So if you know someone in Camden County who is willing to be a county coordinator and help to get the word out in that specific county, that would be fantastic. And the third thing is, start to look into your Board of Education. The Board of Education elections are coming in November. I think that the deadline to submit your petition with all your signatures is July 26th. We need people inside of those offices. We need people who support freedom to be on those boards, because we know that the NJEA is probably one of the most corrupt, bogus organizations out there. And some of the communication coming out is very scary. So you can do it. All these people inside of these Board of Education seats, all of these people inside of the Assembly and the Senate and the different township committees, they're all just people like you and me who are concerned with freedom, that want to do their part to protect New Jerseyans and to make sure that they have a seat at the table. So get your seat at the table. Make sure that you get involved with these conversations. I will have more to come on the Board of Election and how to do that. I will do a special live that will take you through that process. So if you're interested, reach out to me. I can direct you one-on-one as of right now. And if you're interested in getting involved in Jack's campaign and being a county coordinator, or getting involved in the efforts in your specific county, do reach out so that I can point you to the right person. We need Murphy out. We need Jack Citarelli in. There will be plenty more opportunities to meet and greet with him, to ask your questions. I know that his evenings are pretty booked, but we're looking to get a couple of more breakfast meetings going. So people who are interested in having a seat at the table in the preliminary conversations to the election, please reach out to me. I will make sure for the next go round that you have a seat at the table and that you can meet and greet and hear from him yourself, because like I said, you know, we've all had our reservations, but I think everyone that walked out of that room yesterday felt really, really excited about where we're going under a Citarelli administration. I know that I'm excited. I'm inspired to jump in and help. And for those that are on my page, like responding back to my post saying that, you know, you're disappointed in me, like seriously, I'm disappointed in people who are allowing their egos and their feelings about something that has nothing to do with New Jersey getting in the way of what it is that we could be creating as a collective movement, because this is our time. So put everything aside, keep the vision of what it is that we want to create front and center, tunnel vision, and being able, oh my God, trying to watch me and Trump at the same time. Well, thank you so much. Being able to put it all aside and focus on what it is that we want to create, because I know, and I can promise you that we will be in very, very good shape under a Citarelli administration, especially if we continue to have these conversations, if we fundraise for him and we single-handedly help to get him votes from our movement, we will have a seat at the table inside of the administration. And we will have earned the ability to have a seat at the table when it comes to just having conversations and creating that relationship with who will be the governor. So get into the conversations. Staying silent and being angry and doing nothing are not solutions. So stay focused on the solutions. Let's create strategies together. Let's work together, because together we are stronger. Divided, we definitely do not win this. And I know for me, I'll be packing my bags and going somewhere where I can live free. I already moved once. I don't want to have to do it again, just saying. So work with me. Let's do what we need to do to get Murphy out and to get Jack in. Any questions, any concerns, anything constructive, I am always here. Reach out to me and I will be back with you soon. I will have Jack on a live coming in a date to be decided. I will also be having on Michael Papas very soon, who, if you're in District 16, is running against Andrew Zwicker. Another area of concern here in New Jersey is making sure that Assemblyman Zwicker does not take the Senate seat that's being abandoned by Kip Bateman. He's retiring. So abandoned's probably not the right word, but I'm so afraid to have a Zwicker senator situation. So we need to make sure that we support Michael Papas. I will be doing some meet and greets with him as well. So if you're in District 16, please reach out to me if you want to get involved. When it comes to the Senate race here, that is another important race that we're working on. The summertime, yes, it's a little bit breezier and less structure, but that doesn't mean that the work stops. We're constantly grinding and working behind the scenes. So we could use all the help that we can get. If you want to help us, reach out and I will definitely point you somewhere to do something. So thank you so much for joining. Remember to continue to stand up, show up, rise up, speak up, and be the change that you want to see in the world. It is so important now more than ever. So continue to do what you have to do. Oh, JD is posting stuff on here right now. So JD Burden is the campaign manager for Michael Papas. Definitely follow him and stay tuned for more details. We'll have him on a live soon. So thank you so much again for joining. I will be back with more updates and go New Jersey. Do your part. I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.